Recess over. For everybody online that was lost in the streaming, we're back here with Gabe. We're back talking about Everyone Village, about the potential of possibilities coming down here to Creswell. For few small dwellings for Creswell families only, what I'm hearing, and no alcohol, no drugs whatsoever from what I've heard so far. So for everybody online, hopefully that catches you up to date.
Good summary.
Councilor Holt?
That wasn't exactly accurate.
Okay.
No alcohol, no drugs is not
No,
accurate.
who I just talked to during the recess.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay.
I would like to go, Emil, I apologize, I saw your hand up earlier, but I didn't get you, so please.
Hello, my name's Emil. I moved my family here a little over a year ago for many of the reasons that I think anybody moves their family to a small town. One of the things that, one of the reasons why I'm here, and not with my family right now, I've got two small ones and one on the way, is because some of the folks that I see, like Gabe said, I live just down the street, and I see people come by and, are we here for a couple days, and then it gets shoot along, and the little bike Conestoga thing, and then it gets shoot along, and what I do at the village and what we do at the village is not necessarily something that I want to see here in Creswell. I don't think it would fit, and I don't think it would work for Creswell. What I do think would work is helping the families that are here and figuring out how to safeguard that so that there aren't people coming in from Eugene or Salem or California or wherever and saying, hey, I'd like a spot here. I live in Creswell. Having a resource who's here and has vetted families that are in need, who are making use of the little resources that are here, is a fantastic start. Being able to safeguard what happens here, to be able to have the input and not the kind of pressure exerted on whatever program might develop here from the city or the county, means that if people are starting to act out of line, people are starting to slide down that slope and use substances, you can say, hey, shape up or ship out. It can be that simple. And one of the reasons, I'm not sure which lady was saying something about the 24-hour security, but one of the reasons why we don't is because we expect them to act like adults. We hold people accountable. If you're not acting to the standard that you've agreed to, you work yourself out. And if we were to have 24-hour security, I imagine, I don't know the numbers on this, but I imagine that our budget would probably double or triple because overnight FTEs are not cheap, and you generally have to have two people to be able to do that. So, being able to hold people accountable is really, really important. Being able to hold people responsible for their actions is really, really important. And not inviting, everybody from the county or the state or, the western half of the United States to come into Creswell. I would move if that happened. I would be out of here very quick because my family's safety is really important. And I just...
Thanks, Emil. To kind of summarize here, I think the question is, would we like to continue to discuss this topic with Gabe? And I'm going to do something that I don't know that's been done. I'm going to ask the council, but I'm going to ask, everybody in the chairs with a head nod. And how do you feel? I mean, there's potential for, we can stipulate what we want. The only thing I would want to do is help Creswell families, period, end of story. Be vetted, families only. I want to keep the families together. I want to get the kids to not feel bad when they go to school because they don't have the shoes or the clothes and they don't have a warm place to stay. That's going to get my heart every time, so 100% is going to get my heart. Helping anybody else, busting anybody in, absolutely not. They have to 100% be Creswell, and they have to have kids in the district, and an opportunity to learn would be me. But I would like to see counselors and audience's nod of, should we move forward with talking some more with Gabe about this opportunity, or should we just decide to not do it at all?
Can we get council consensus, please?
Yeah, plan to. Okay. Counselor Castillo?
I think that with the stipulations that you've mentioned, and yes, we're very early in the conversation, that I would like to keep this conversation going.
Okay.
With, because at first I made the assumption that we could not make those types of stipulations, but apparently we can. So that caught my attention, and I'd like to talk more about it, yes.
Okay, Counselor Morris?
I'd like to talk more about it so we can make it fit our community.
And it's not, again, if we're gonna talk more, it's not a yes, it's not a no, it's continue to get further down the line. Counselor Holt?
I think this conversation right now is fiscally irresponsible. I am a hard no.
Okay. Counselor Dukes?
I needed to hear a little more.
Okay. Counselor Kent?
I would like to hear a little more and also receive some data on that. I'd like the presentation, and I would like to be able to review that away from the setting. So yes,
Counselor
with your stipulation, please.
Counselor Kramer?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a yes to further the conversation, but that's it. Continue to talk. Community members, can I get head nods? Would you like to continue the conversation?
No. No. Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm getting 50-50 on the community, so.
How about a show of hands of yes, and then a show of hands of no? You take
Can I
quick
throw
count.
something out here?
Yeah, go ahead, Counselor Holt.
We have a unique opportunity to put something on the November ballot. Won't cost us a thing. It's a general election. Perhaps this is one of those situations that need to go on the ballot.
That sounds
Yes,
good.
that sounds
very
good.
Yeah.
I have a question. I thought there was a moratorium on building new houses
There
because
is.
of the sewer system. So how do we add this, and we can't build a house, but this can come in?
More to the conversation, because I agree.
Yep.
I agree. There's more to the conversation here. City manager.
There were a lot of details.
Appropriate for more, I'm just talking about more conversation. I'm not
Yeah,
talking,
we're-
I'm not voting yes or no.
We're not voting to start tomorrow. What we're asking is what the counselors have heard, what you have heard tonight, is more conversation with Gabe and Catherine and the school district warranted to see how we could adapt, or is it adaptable to Creswell? And if it is, then what does that look like? And that's where we would probably get into more conversations about how much it would cost to run, where we would get the money. So that would be another opportunity for the public to look at it, knowing more of the consequences or more of the impact. So this is a very slow-moving process that is really going to be data-driven and comes down to what this council has instructed with support without unsustained resources. We don't have the resources for a full program or to sustain it long-term. We know that. But what else is out there that might offset that? That's the question that we're trying to answer.
Do we have a piece of property that's been donated, or, I mean, where is this gonna go?
Nope, we do not.
We don't have property.
Nope.
No.
Is someone working?
We can build houses, we
someone
don't have
working-
property, but they want to keep talking about
Is
it.
someone working on it, or
Not-
has
not
a
to my
church-
knowledge.
Or
Nobody-
has a
nobody-
church that wants to donate land or something?
So that would be one of the next steps that we look at, is if there's a consensus or direction that's given to me to go ahead and have more conversation, that's the next layer that we would start peeling back.
I'd like to
don't
ask
have
Gabe
property.
about that question though. Is
Property?
there someone that you have in mind and that you're working with in Creswell that you guys believe would be a good opportunity? And is there something in the works right now?
For property wise, right? Clarify.
None at all.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I wanted
Can
to
I
ask
answer?
you. Yeah.
Okay. I went ahead and, don't take this the wrong way,
Okay.
I went ahead and reached out because I want to know what your options really are. So happen to connect, in the process of connecting with your Masonic Lodge. which is made up of leaders in Creswell that I'm sure know the community pretty well. Huh?
That wouldn't be enough room.
No,
he
not
doesn't
their,
mean for
just
that,
their
as a
leaders.
resource.
Yeah, to say like, hey, you guys are leaders in the community, often respected for their status in the
Okay, go
Masonic
ahead,
Lodge.
sorry.
And so they're setting up a chance for me to come meet them and talk to them and see, like, we gotta look, I don't know, maybe not. And if there isn't, you can't do it, because you
Then the
can't, people don't
conversation
float.
stops, yeah. It's
Yeah, totally.
Go ahead, Councilor Kramer.
Great
no point in
question.
keeping a
So-
conversation going.
The idea's great, but we have other means of doing this with how many families in Creswell that need to be?
13.
13.
And not all of them are unhoused. Some of them are living with family, which I did several times when I was raising my child.
Right.
Which I
So-
wouldn't consider to be unhoused.
I don't consider that unhoused.
No, I think McKinney.
But there are other means about doing this without land that we don't have hookups. You know, this is well down the road, but I still think that there's better options, another way for as little homeless that we have.
Well, certainly, if you have better options, you should always take them, because they're better options.
What we're
And-
doing right now is not working.
And maybe through this process, we can look at those to see what other options are out there.
I have a relative question as far as like what resources are, because you're saying some of this we could handle or we have resources to handle. It's like I do work weekly with Catherine and the schools, I'm in all the schools, and they provide shoes, clothing, underwear, socks, winter coats, diapers, all kinds of things for all these families. I get to see the families up close. I get to see the mothers that may be living in a car or living in an apartment, barely getting by, dragging in little ones because they might have an older one at the elementary school, or I get to go to the middle school and I get to see all these things firsthand. So there is a need. Not all of them are homeless. Some of them are just struggling by having so many children or just out of a job temporarily, whatever. But how does Creswell First, the foundation of Creswell First or whatever, how does that fit into some of the people that can't pay their water and their electric bills, or some of these other things that aren't fixed necessarily by a village, but are problems that could lead someone to ending up needing to be in a village? So I don't know that well enough at this point. I know that they donate to great causes or,
Yeah, I think Creswell First would have to be a partner with us. I mean,
We would reach out to them to
at
see.
the Crestwell Clubhouse, I mean,
To
all the
make it-
nonprofit.
to even to make
If we were to,
this
yeah,
go
to even make
forward or
this, yeah,
anything.
absolutely,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And again, we get to set the rules. If this is what the community wants, again, I will vote however the community wants me to vote.
right.
If the community wants this, then we set the rules on what you guys want, or what your heart tells you to give. Because sometimes your heart wants to give more, but your mind tells you no, because if you give more, they're gonna take more. So we can set this up however we would like.
Well,
And I think
everyone's
that conversation is willing,
Everyone's had a family member or currently has a family member or someone that some of us for decades have helped them. And it's just it's an
Never-ending
open-ended cycle.
Absolutely.
And there's so many aspects of it that aren't just addiction. And so it's not like we don't have a heart for it or we don't want to help them.
sure.
That's right. It's just what's next, and as Emil said, is this the right fit for Creswell? It may be, but it may not be, and we may be too small. We've not ever had the resources, and it's not like we're pawning them off to Lane County, but it is a thing of, we don't have the resources, so we can't help them. We do a lot through the Grange and the food banks and so many other things that I'm involved in.
You can only do what you can do.
We're just a small part of the community. We would need to get more of the community together.
Oh, 100%.
Really, to know what they would like to do. We're just a small part of it.
2,000 plus homes, and how many people are here
Yeah.
tonight?
This room does not represent the entire community.
No,
Not even
it's
close.
not.
Yeah, not even close. But it's who we're working with right now, and then we need to try and reach out to talk to more and get everybody involved. Counselor Holt?
By the council agreeing to continue the conversation, I hope that doesn't mean that we're gonna start planning.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I hope that doesn't mean
I
that,
think-
because
I
what
think
we've
it's
experienced the
well-
last month or so is we're getting a lot of stuff already planned, given to us, and it's gotta stop. So I want it to be made very clear that we shouldn't be planning anything without everybody in agreement to go forward.
Other than your comments about the logo, I don't know what else has been
What?
planned.
What was that?
Yeah, it made me, Councilor Kramer's remarks made me think more about this. Just the lack of the hookups and everything, that maybe it would be, unless there's some sort of solution with that, maybe it's something that we should come back to and revisit when the sewer thing is. Not that we shouldn't be
The moratorium.
thinking about what we can do for our residents right now who are suffering, which I definitely want to not lose.
Yeah.
But just that we might be technically completely unable to do anything even if we wanted to, based on the limitations we're facing from the DEQ.
Yeah.
Matt, Catherine's hand is up. You can't see
Oh,
her.
Go ahead.
So I just
Sorry.
want to say really, so I've been in this position for 6 years, and I have seen families doing all the right things, right? They've got the job, they've got the house, they've got everything, their ducks are in a row, and they're still struggling. We have families that cannot pay their water bill. I mean, I'm a family of 3, my water bill is $250 this month. We have families that are living without electricity. We have families that are using their stove to heat their house because their heater's broken and they don't want to tell their landlord because they're scared they're going to get evicted. Like, we have a problem in Creswell.
Yes.
And we have to do something. Is this the something? I don't know. But if this is even the start of the conversation, then I'm here for it, right?
That's
That's what I want
my,
this to be, is the start of that.
that's my intent. Yes, sir?
I'd like to ask this guy, he says he's talking with people in Cottage Grove. Who is he talking with in Cottage Grove?
Chief Chase, Police Chief Chase and Counselor Irvin.
There's your answer.
Greg Irvin?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so, go ahead.
Did you already do something down there before?
Nope.
I just want to kind of address what Counselor Holt said, but more importantly, to kind of address Vincent, since I'm kind of like a fan, but in your city manager's corner, one of the things that you first said at the end of January when you sent that out was, as the city manager, you're administrative head of government, your primary role is to provide proper administration. One of the cornerstones of your business is transparency. So I want to hold you to that, and I know you'll always be honest and transparent, but I just want to make sure that going forward, that is kind of where we are, because it does feel like, and I already said to you, with no packet tonight, and some of the pamphlets ran through pretty fast, so not knowing what they were going to say other than what was in the agenda, it just felt like there was an unknown that we couldn't, and I know the council gives privy information that we don't get or whatever, but it just felt like you're walking in going, I wonder what this is about.
Well, that's why we went ahead and gave a little bit more detailed of an explanation, and as with other meetings, things that we receive, we will post
Oh,
that
yes.
as supplement information to the agenda.
And I
'cause
appreciate that.
Me, my staff, we believe in transparency.
Yeah.
That's why we like having these conversations, although they're difficult at times,
Yeah.
but they're out in front of the public.
Thank you.
All right, if everybody had a chance, I think the council's agreed to move forward with the conversation.
What does that look
That's it.
like? I would like to know what that looks like.
Well,
Is that another work session? Is that
So
it?
from my perspective, it would be touching base with Gabe and everyone in Village more, having more conversations with the school district, trying to look at what would be sort of an initial shape of this, like conceptually, what does it look like? And I would continue to provide you updates weekly, and then at some point, there would be enough information to bring back for a work session. Hey, the last 3 months we worked on this is the
So
information we have.
planning, this was what I was talking about. Like this.
No.
Yes,
It's-
it is planning. What else you call it?
I call it data collection.
Oh.
We're not planning anything, but you're asking the city manager to have more conversation. So if my saying, we're going to talk to see what this looks like, to see are there properties out there, what would it look like for properties?
When I said
Then
continue the conversation, personally, I said no, but I thought that meant coming back to the table again at another work session, not after all of these things get done.
So
That's
then-
planning.
And I'm open to what the council wants. If you want to come back and have another work session and process and debrief, If you have your own ideas about it, then instruct me.
I just want to know how this even came into this. How did we even get?
It's part of his hiring packet.
But we weren't even like, it was not discussed on anything, like.
It just came out of nowhere.
Even remotely, and we don't know about whatever these meetings are that you have that are coming out with this. I do feel ramrodded right now, because I feel that we're having we're not even starting a discussion. We're like starting a plan.
Yeah, we're like
And
90
that's
feet in
not-
the discussion.
That's not fair
our
to
back.
us
Yeah.
as councilors.
So then what does the next
I'm not-
conversation look like for the
I-
council?
The whole mayor and manager thing, Ian's gotta communicate better, because it's too wild for me, like.
It's a presentation.
No, but this
You're not
conversation between you guys started before even talking to us. Like, we did not even get part of this discussion. You're just bringing in somebody that's consulting about this. Like, nothing against whatever's happening right there. I'm just saying that for the counselors, we knew nothing about this. It's sort of like, hey, here, do something with it.
Counselor Castillo,
Oh,
please.
from my perspective, and there's, what happened earlier with the logo and what's happening now, this process is how it should happen. The city manager has, as he described, that's one of his duties, is what he's been charged with, it's in his job description. And I would assume the mayor, they set the agenda, and they brought it forward to a work session, first time we've talked about it. Now, and I'm not gonna, I don't wanna beat a dead horse, but the city logo thing, that was a little bit different. That came out, we heard little snippets here and there, and that was it. That was a little bit different. That's not how it normally happens. This is how it's supposed to happen. This is the proper procedure. It's brought forth to a work session for the mayor, for the city manager. That's their job. And they're bringing it to us, we're talking about it. All we're okaying is to continue the conversation. And if our conversation is not about, as city manager just described, what does it look like? What else is there to talk about? We're not gonna agree to, we're not gonna vote on anything.
Why are we having a discussion though, if we didn't know that there was an issue?
No.
Debbie?
I really feel like going back in the whole conversation, at some point when Gabe looked at Bill Kent and acknowledged him by name, and then mentioned that, Nick, I know from your store, not a problem, business and lumber, I'm all for it, my whole life was lumber. And then mentioned Vincent, and having seen them out there, I don't know if y'all went together, y'all went separate, it doesn't matter to me, but it does feel a little bit like there was, when Counselor Crummer just said, when did this all start? And your job description aside, because I agree with that, but it's like, it felt like there was an undercurrent of relationships building long before it came on our agenda. And then Bill's part of it, and Bill's built the Conestoga huts, which was very highly
Which I voted against and pushed.
right, but I'm just saying, that was very contentious, and he did it, and it's working fine, I'm assuming that it's for the few that are there or whatever, but I'm just saying, that was a groundswell a couple years ago that had a momentum and a life of its own, and was pretty big outpouring, probably 90%, 95% to 5% not in agreement. So I just think it's maybe a little blindsided, that's all. And so I understand kind of where he feels like something was going on, or when did it go on, and I don't know.
Okay, I'll say, I went to Gabe first of anybody, because I got interested in the homeless people in Creswell. And I'd heard about it. So I went to see, how does he operate? Then Ed and I responded to what we saw some people enduring in Creswell, trying to sleep in the pocket park out here when it was cold and rainy, and they couldn't even put up a tent until 10 at night. So that's how the Conestoga huts, and then I copied what Gabe was gonna his method of operation required everybody in it to have some reciprocity, I think is the way he put it. So I required everybody in Conestoga to meet all the guidelines of the city and spend 2 hours a week cleaning up trash over there in the park. So I had some reciprocity, I had a reason why I did it, and I didn't build 40, couldn't afford to.
I'm not
So
doubting
we-
you.
But
hold on.
that's how the
Go ahead.
timeline, but to
right
say,
now-
if the city council, to say to the city manager, well, we didn't talk about it, maybe you didn't, but he's allowed to talk to other people in the city, and Ed and I have to be other people in the city.
I'm not
So
doubting
then
you.
They don't understand.
Hold on, I wanna-
input from the rest of
Okay.
us in the
Right now,
city.
today, between welfare, SNAP, unemployment, social security and all that, there shouldn't be any homeless people. Unless they got a felony on their record, this young lady here, she could probably go to community sharing there in Cottage Grove and figure out which things they're eligible for, and she can find out and help them get signed up.
They do good little-
Community sharing right there in Cottage Grove, they will tell you how to get these people signed up.
I will tell you that a lot of our families don't qualify for Wicker Snap, so they're on that line where they don't quite make low enough income to qualify for help, but they don't make high enough income to be able to afford all their bills.
Government assistance out there, check with
Right,
community
so
sharing.
if you go to community sharing and you need help with utility assistance, they will
They've
help
actually
you
got
one
probably
section
100
6 months.
different plans right here in this state alone.
For the next meeting, could we please have some
don't
sort
need to
of
start another
idea about what the real
It's not
numbers are
needed.
behind this? Not the funded numbers, like what it actually costs, what it could potentially cost the community if we weren't to get grants, that kind of stuff. Could that be our next
Of course.
information?
That's where I was going with the information that you guys would need with data would include costs, if there's property out there, what it looks like, what churches might be able to be partnered with. The aspects of the conversation that you have questions with are the topics we would start working with the school district and
I
Gabe
just
with.
want a general idea personally. I don't want you guys to go through the motions of plans so that in 3 months you put it back in front and say, look, we've got all this planned out. Now we just need your yes or no. That's what I feel like is coming.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay?
Counselor Kent?
Yeah, I just got to say that I wasn't quite even sure what the ask was. If the ask was us giving you permission to operate in here, or if you wanted,
Any asks.
or if you wanted
Ask on
funding.
me.
Yeah, okay. Then
I thought it was
I
just
do want
a
to.
presentation,
Okay.
and I'm bringing it to the community. Vincent and I discussed, we're bringing it to the community to see what the community wants. My focus was, the only way I would even potentially even give this a second thought was to only help Creswell. That's my personal thought. However, it is what you guys want, it's not what I want, it's whatever you guys want. Vincent's intent was never to railroad or spring anything on you. I thought this was just a conversation, honestly, for me, I thought, I'm bringing a
Then why are we
conversation to
making a
you.
decision? Why
We're not,
just leave
I'm
the
just asking if you
presentation
want to continue the conversation to see if it's, I don't know how we move forward with the conversation. Councilor Kent?
Yeah, I like your model. It sounds like a better model than what's come up before. So kudos on that. It sounds to me also like maybe the DEQ restrictions we're on under means maybe it's not the right time, but maybe there's some way around it. I don't know, but I'm glad that we're having a conversation on what we can do to help our residents who are having tough times, and I want to continue with that.
Well, you guys are the counselors too, you can tell me how you want this discussion to go. It's not up to me, it's up to all of us. So I think we've agreed to continue the discussion, but I would like the parameters of, Counselor Holt would like actual numbers. Counselor Kramer, did you put a specific idea out there that you want answered, or besides? I don't know how to, I want to make sure you bring it to your attention as much as possible, but as far as I know, Vincent will go out and do some more homework.
What's driving it?
Well, part of his hiring packet, so we're aware, was that the city, when we hired him, it was part of his requirement to review this.
And
It was part of his packet, so he is doing
Yeah,
what
we
we
kinda
asked him to
failed
do.
on that.
It is what we asked him to do in his hiring packet. So this isn't sprung out of nowhere. This council asked him to do that when we hired him. It's in the packet. So he brought it to my attention, we discussed it. He's doing his job. That's what we asked him to do. and if you don't want it, we don't have to have it. But he's doing his job, and I'm just listening to him and allowing him to do his job, and then bringing it to the public so we can discuss it, and if you guys say no, then you kick rocks, Gabe. You know, I mean, whatever the community wants. So I've been transparent this entire time. I'm a little frustrated that all of a sudden tonight that I'm getting beat up so hard that I haven't been transparent. I put everything on, in front of this camera, in front of the microphones. I've never done anything outside of this council, or outside my purview, or whatever, anything outside of Oregon Ethics Committee, okay? I've done nothing, but whatever this community wants is what this community is gonna get. The majority of this community's voice is gonna get what they want.
So the question is not about opening up an everyone village in Creswell. The question is, have what you've seen with the presentation compelling enough where you think it could be adapted based on parameters that you would set to assist the 13 some odd families in Creswell? That's the scope of what.
That's a tough question though, because you have 13 somewhat families now. Next year, you're gonna have first graders coming in. Maybe there are 3 or 4 families in that first grade unit that are in the same situation, and it just grows and grows and grows. To your point, not all of these families are actually like low income. Some of them just have a hard time making ends meet. We've all been there. We've all had to adjust for things like that. I worked 3 jobs at one point in my life. Like, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, so we just go, okay, well, let's help out these 13 families, and then 2 years from now, what do we just stop? I mean, these are the things we have to think about.
And that's where I think the conversation moving forward goes.
100% right. 100% right.
How do you determine if it's a Creswell family or not? Can somebody move here for 3 months and then claim, you know, try to...
So,
They would know who has kids and how.
I think that's where the next level of conversation, if the council wants to continue down this path, that's where the next level of conversation, to ask those questions. What does the program look like? What would the parameters be? And then that framework would be brought back to council for them to talk about it in front of you guys.
Well, you know, they were
Just
talking
putting
about...
the point of what we were trying to say, it's fine, it's not worth arguing about.
And that's going to happen.
Hold on, we're getting out of hand here.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hold on.
Are you leaving before it's finished?
Well, I'm just gonna, well, can you give updates sooner than later, especially the councilors that have concerns, like, or as soon as you get your data?
Sure, and I've been including the milestones and the updates in the weekly reports.
And they are also
I'll
on the
continue to do that.
website under
Yep.
city manager.
Yep, we'll,
Do you put all of the same stuff you give us on the website?
No.
Yeah, that's
No.
what I thought.
but I can, what I'm saying is I can put this on the website.
Absolutely,
As an
the
update.
community needs to know.
Yep, it can go on my webpage.
Okay.
I think there's also things that we need to, like, he needs to know if we have connections. Like, these are very first things before we get even.
I don't even know why we're having this big of a conversation about this without having, yeah, anyway.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn.